Hello, today I would like to focus on our health and especially on physical activity and the lack of physical activity. If we compare ourselves with people living in caves thousands and thousands of years ago, we can come to the conclusion that the lifestyle has improved a lot, so it is much more comfortable to live today. But we also have to admit that looking at the anatomy of the human body, that has remained more or less the same. So we still have that huge amount of muscles in our body, but we do not use them properly. So there are studies which show us that more than every second person spends more than 8 hours per day sitting. So we can easily calculate those hours. When we drive to work in the morning, either by car or by using public transport, and then you spend 7-8 hours at your desk and then drive back home. And a lot of us enjoy the evening then sitting on the sofa and watching TV. What are the consequences? So we have a lot of negative consequences. So first of all, when we do not use our muscles enough, they tend to over-acidify. So what does that mean? There's not enough oxygen in our muscles, and that hurts. And then we are starting this vicious circle. So once something hurts, we tend not to use it anymore. So we tend not to move anymore. And that hurts even more. And then the muscles easily degenerate. So we have less amount of muscle in our body. Additionally, we have to say that a lot of us are exposed every day to stress. So we have a lot of stressors, and our body produces hormones, stress hormones. And the purpose of these stress hormones is to make us active, physically active. But what we do is that we remain seated at our desk, we lift our shoulders and do not move. And the result is that the level of those stress hormones gets reduced just very slowly. So that's not the way that evolution and nature has invented that mechanism. What can we do? So we know that there are recommendations to do at least 10,000 steps per day. And there are those fitness bands or fitness trackers that we can use. They count the steps, and you might be astonished if you check that on a normal sitting day, there is not more than 2,000 or 3,000 steps per day. So we have to do much more to reach those 10,000. What can we do? So first of all, what you can do is that you avoid lifts, that you use stairs, that you implement situations which allow you to move in the office. So for example, you put the printer in another room so that you have to stand up several times per day to walk there. So it gives you a different position. What else happened if we spend the day sitting at our desk? A lot of muscles, so especially here in the area of our hip and back, they get shortened, and that hurts. They produce a lot of tension on our bones and joints, and that's hurting. So still, or again, we tend not to move, but we should do so. Another recommendation is to do endurance sport at least 2.5 hours per week. And each of those workout sessions should be at least 30 minutes. So if we are honest, who does that? Studies show that not even 50% of the population in Western Europe is doing 2.5 hours endurance sport per week. So we should do that. There are studies which show us that there is a significant correlation between the lack of physical activity and so-called civilization diseases like cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, burnout, or also cancer. So this is my recommendation: move, get active. This is what our body is made for. Thank you.